Have you ever wanted to be hands-free when using your PowerApps app? A lot of my industrial construction type customers do. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use this Realwear headset, right? We're going to use our voice, we're going to use the camera, the barcode scanner, all these built-in pieces to go through a PowerApps app that has been designed specifically for this device that lets us assemble Legos, right? We need our hands to assemble the Legos. So we're gonna have a little fun with that. Now, keep in mind, as always, this video is not paid for or sponsored by them, so I can say whatever I want. This is a device I got my hands on. I thought, man, this would make a cool video. And so I thought I would share it with all of you. So we will run through using the device because it's really what you want to see. Then we'll talk a little bit about some of the different tips about how to build if you decide to use this particular device. And, just kind of have some fun, like PowerApps concepts like logging and things like that. So even if you're not doing any of it, you can still learn some cool stuff. Sound like fun? Then let's switch over to my desktop and take a look. Okay, so here we are on the headset. You can see my screen because in reality, the headset's an Android device. So I'm using this software called Visor that lets me show you my Android device. It just happens to be a headset. And so to start here, we're just going to say My Programs. So that takes us to a list of all of our lovely programs. You can see that PowerApps is right there in the middle, nice and native. So we can just say PowerApps. And now it launches the PowerApps Android app. So same thing we've always used on Android. And so here you can see all the different apps. And so I have it right there at the top. So I'm just going to say Lego Assembly. All right, let's give it a go. So we'll say Get Started. And there you go. So now it drops us in here. And so now you've got the button up in the top. We'll say Scan the Set. That launches into the lovely little UI here. And so we're going to kind of zoom in with my face. And there you go. Now, obviously, if you're going to really do this, you'd want a bigger barcode, so you don't have to shove it up against your face like that. But, the tiny little asset tags I have, they're, in reality, it's about 1 inch big. So you have to get pretty close. So if I had to do it again, I probably would have just printed out my own, much larger barcodes like this. I think would have made it easier. But you can see when I scanned the set, it used the asset tag and it did a lookup against our Dataverse database. Doesn't have to be Dataverse, just my app was. And so it has pulled in the image that I took of the box, asset tag 0010 and C3PO. So then now I'm going to fiddle in here and find my first bag. And so my bags have also got this. So I'm going to say scan the bag. And now we get to put the bag way too close to my face again. There you go. And, I can also, you can tell I'm a little clumsy with moving this stuff around. The more I've used it, like if you'd seen me the very first day I got it, I was pretty bad. I've gotten a lot better. So just keep that in mind, like the ease of doing it all hands-free will get a lot better kind of as you go, right? I've already gotten better. But there you go. You can see it's a picture of bag number 1. And so now we're ready to assemble the bag. So now, there you go. There is my first instruction. And so, right, this is coming out of the manual. So I would follow that instruction. And when I'm done with that page, I would say, complete the page. There you go. There's the next page. So we'll say complete the page. Notice at the top, it says bag number I'm on. Oh, we'll say complete the page. And so now it's bag 3 of 4. So we'll say complete the page. And now we're on the last one, right? I decided you guys didn't want to see me go through the 18 pages or whatever. So I stopped at 4. And so we'll say one last time, complete the page. This time, because it was done, it takes me back, success, you have completed the scan. And so then we would pick up and keep going. So this in a nutshell is how it works. There is a virtual keyboard. So if I was in a text input and I really want to make my users miserable, you can type with your voice. There is also an option where you can turn on a mouse pointer. So if your app wasn't as designed as well as this is, then you could do it with a mouse pointer. It sort of puts a little mouse pointer screen, kind of move it around your head, and then you say click mouse, and it would click the mouse. So kind of cool, right? But I think I can finally just take this thing off. Oh, okay. So now let's just talk a little bit about what the app looks like, right? And what special things that I have to do to build the app. Well, the truth be told, there's not a lot of special things you have to do. Really, the main thing that you need to understand is that 1, you want to go in here to settings, and under display, I had to set it up so that lock orientation. So if you don't lock the orientation, then it gets confused whether it's vertical or horizontal, and like a lot of the navigation stuff doesn't work. So you want to lock the orientation. I'm also going to turn it off so it quits clicking every time I talk. So that's one difference than normal, right? So not a huge difference. The other thing here is you might notice like all of my buttons had big words. So if you go through their developer's guide, it kind of talks to you about like the way that its voice recognition works. If the button just said next, like it doesn't pick that up. It needs a multi-syllable. So I just made all my buttons larger, get started, right? Or if we go here to scan the set, I made all of the buttons a bigger sentence and it worked better that way. So those were the main differences. The only other thing that I did that was not even different, but slightly different was like when we scan the set, right? That is a barcode scanner. And so with that, you just want to make sure you set the scanning mode to automatically scan. There is no way to like do the scan and then say like click scan now. Like there's nothing, software doesn't interact with the barcode scanner. So you have to have it set on automatically scan. Now, if you kind of look at it, so let's just look at this from a PowerApps perspective. So this app has kind of got two parts, and this is pretty indicative of how I would do something like this. So you saw the hands-free side, but over here I've got an admin side. And so right now I have a little admin icon up here, right? There's no button here. I don't want people doing it with their voice anyway. So you got to click it with the mouse, be on your desktop. And I believe if we look, I even set this visible to NF is admin. And right, so NF means a named formula. And so if you look up here under named formulas, I've got it set to true right now. But what I was doing was I was using an access control list. And so if the user was in the access control list and they had access to full, then they see this button, right? By setting that property. Right. And I should mention that this app, if it looks a little like it's got a lot of different little features, that's on purpose. So as part of my Power Platform University, our 6-month program, we spent about 4 or 5 weeks together building this app. Right. I demoed this headset for them about 6 months ago or 3 months ago, I don't know, a while back. And they loved it. So they decided to build an app for it. So we built it together. So I threw a bunch of little concepts in here along the way to teach the university class. Or if you want to learn, like my 301 class coming up in just a week or so, it also has this. But so the admin screen, let's click the button here, boop. This is very typical of me. We all know that I hate PowerApps forms, but this is a form. And so why did I use a form? Because on this screen, I didn't need any special functionality. I didn't need a nice user interface. I just needed a quick way for an admin to come in here and add a new set, right? So let's go through the process of adding a set. So if we say create a new item, right? We get a blank form, right? Forms in new mode. And so here I just went and said asset tag is A0099. Date purchase could just be today. I don't know why it's not a date picker. We just won't ask questions why it's not a date picker. Number of pieces, 1,000 pieces. Set name is fake. And then product photo, we're able to say tap or click to add a picture. And then we can just grab any of these lovely pictures. So let's grab 3PO's picture again. Okay. So then that is how I create a set. So we say save the item. And as you can imagine, it saves an item. I know, shocking. Go down here to the fake one. Now with the fake one, then what we want to do is we needed to add the bags. And so here, and remember, this is not meant to be hands-free. This is meant to be done by somebody at a computer. That's why, right, we're not using the headset right now. So they hit this and we get a lovely little pop-up. It's super ugly because the university students said, okay, we get the concept, just, make this stuff faster. And so then if we had bag tag A0001, it doesn't matter. That's bag number 1. We take a picture of bag number 1. Where's bag number 1? Where are you at? I'll make it 11. Who cares? Bag number 11. There you go. And then we save. So then that's how they save it. My little Pac-Man thing there. And then now that we've got a bag, then you go in and manage pages, right? So we've also got relationships of a parent, child, and a grandchild, right? We got 3 tiers of relationships here. And so then now you come in here and I'm adding for bag number 11, I'm adding, page 88. I would take a picture of one of the pages. So here's just one of the random page pictures I had. And then here I was putting the page description. So like it was open the bag or this is steps 8 to 15, something like that. And we say save. And then now that adds that over here. So that's the admin interface. Nothing too crazy, just enough to facilitate this because once again, this isn't going to be a user experience. This is just the backend admin sitting on a computer loading up the parts. In case of like my one customer, it was custom ductwork that they had to build. So they would kind of load in these schematics and then they had all the pages and they could run through those. And also keep in mind like the barcode side of this. I think the barcodes are super important. Oftentimes like it's real easy to enter an asset tag number if I'm sitting here at my PC, but when we're on the floor, whether it's on a device or a headset like that, like typing with your fingers, big fingers, maybe you're wearing gloves because it's cold, right? It's like 0 degrees outside. We got like 8 inches of snow today. Weird, I know. It's not normal for Cincinnati, Ohio, if you're wondering. So anyway, like having them type doesn't work great. giving them a barcode so they can just scan it, whether it's, once again, what's the device, the headset, it doesn't matter. It always goes better. It cuts down on errors. It cuts down on frustration. It makes it faster. So use barcodes, okay? But so that's the admin side. Pretty simple. And that just stored all this information. If we kind of looked at my data sources here, we've got Lego sets, right? Sets 3PO, bags, that's the 11 bag, and then pages, and then that is the pages, right? Right, the actual instruction pages. And then like if we were to look at pages, edit data, and there's a description, all the created stuff we don't need because it's all there automatically. There's that page number, there's the photo, and then it just knows what bag it's associated with, right? And the bag knows what set it's associated with. So that's kind of how we put that together. So that's how that works. Now, if we go back over here, and so when we said get started, what we did was we dropped them into a different page for scanning your set. Once again, scan the set. And so when they scan the set, what it's going to do is it's going to invoke the barcode scanner. Now, if PowerApps is cooperating, it should do a default barcode, there you go, of 1231412. So if you're ever building something with a barcode, you want to set some fake data tied to that fake barcode, because that number is what will always come out while you're in studio mode. So I just built that set to use that barcode, so that way when I'm testing, I make sure it works. But so you scan the set, it returns that barcode. We get this picture, the asset tag, and the description. And if you look at scan the set, what we did was we said on scan, we set var success to false. I don't remember why I did that, but because that's for getting rid of the success message that we'll see in a minute. We then do a lookup to Lego sets for the asset code of what was scanned there, and put that in a variable. And then the other thing that we're doing throughout this app, and this is important, especially in assembly apps or inventory apps or any type of app where you want to know what's happening with things, right? So we are patching another table called Lego logs with a new record. Item worked is set and then the number, so set 1231412, and then the type of object is it is a set. So if we were to go over here and look at the Lego logs, what we've got, edit data, scroll down here at the bottom, right? So look, this is when I scanned my set a minute ago. And then I scanned bag 0011, right? And then for bag 0011, I did page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Boom, we had done all the pages. So this, like I said, is something that we do a lot of with inventory apps, construction apps, because now we know who's the last person to scan this thing. Or maybe we're watching a big Power BI report of how many assembly things are happening at a time. Every step is getting logged. Every action the person's taking is showing up in the log. So we can do reporting on that. And remember, because Dataverse, we've automatically got a created on field. We've already got a created by, right? So we could go through and have this report tell us who's creating all these things. We know all this stuff, right? It's one of the nice things Dataverse does. SharePoint would do as well. But if you're doing this in SQL Server, you would have to create all these additional fields yourself. Okay? So we're logging everything they do. They scan, we log. When we go here and we scan the bag, right? If we look at on scan for that, same thing. We're updating a variable to scan bag. And then we're patching that same log, but now it's set and bag. Right, so we scan the bag. Once again, I have a bag tied to 123412. Oh, I broke that earlier. Well, I did have one tied to that. How rude. Let's go back over here to this data set real quick, right? We'll just go back in admin or app. Back to the admin screen. We'll click on, who's that? At, and then we'll go here to its bag and we'll say, hey, your bag tag 1231412, right? That's that default number. You gotta remember that or look it up every time, whichever, right? But now if we save, okay, now if we go back over here, so get started, scan the set, that should find it. Now, if you click this and it's not doing, then that tells you that the little auto scanner is not working. So we'll try pressing it there. There you go. Now we'll say scan the bag. There we go. Okay, so we fixed that. And then as you know, right now we would say assemble the bag. And then in this particular case, because I broke it, there is no fake data. So let's add the fake data back over here on the admin screen. We'll click here. We'll say manage pages, right? I deleted all the pages. So we'll just say, all that's great. All right, this will just be a one pager. The lovely picture, buddy. Who cares, right? Save. Okay, now we got a page. Third time's a charm. Maybe, maybe not. Let's cancel out of there. Get started. Scan the set. Nope, that's not gonna work again. We'll say Alt. Oh, we'll say Alt here. There we go. Scan the bag. There we go. Assemble the bag. And assemble the bag just navigates to the other screen. That's all it's going to do. And then boom. And there's picture of buddy. Now, when we go to complete the page, or before we complete the page, right, we can see up here that what we're doing is we just have a variable called var page number. It starts at 1. And then we are counting the number of rows in the Lego pages that are tied to that bag. And so that's where when we had 4, it said 1 of 4. And so when you say complete the page, it is going to first patch our log so we know that they completed that page. And then, hey, if our page number equals the amount, so if it was already 4 and it was 4, then it would say set success to true and navigate away. If not, increment the variable by 1. And so that would go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Right? In our case, it's going to jump right across. So there you go, not a terribly complicated page. Also keep in mind, like one of the things you might find yourself with this page is you might want to like have some type of, maybe you patch when they start the page and patch when they end, so you can track how long each page takes to assemble because you want to keep assembly stats. You could do that. Maybe you need to add a notes field here because they want to be able to stop. They need to make, annotations along the way, right? Once you've got the main framework here, adding some fields and updating the patch to patch some additional data, no big deal. Maybe when they finish a set, you want to send an email, right? You can add those pieces of logic to make it follow your business process. And then another reminder, right? It says complete the page because we needed those nice buttons. So now if we complete the page, boop. So then now over here, we just had a label. This label is just visible if var success is true. And so when they scan the set again, remember we set var success to false, and that makes it go away. The reset the screen button, this was primarily here for testing. So if I scan the wrong thing, I could just say reset the screen, it would start it over. And all that's really doing is setting my variable back to blank, kind of just sets everything back to their default behaviors. And then navigate to home, sets everything back to blank, and then navigates to welcome. I guess I could also point out, like when we say scan the set, so this label down here, so it's only visible if not is blank the asset tag. So that's why right now you don't see asset tag underneath here or any of these labels because they're only visible when that variable is populated. But there you go. Not a super complicated app, but great productivity enhancer because you can build it to be a custom what you want. And if you use the lovely little headset here, right, we can go completely hands-free. Also, when you're talking about the headset, like they showed me the ability, like you can do Teams calls with it, things like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff it can do, but I'm not here to sell you the headset. But if you've got hands-free workers, you should check that out. Also, this little visor program, I'd never used it before. It's VYSOR, which lets me interact with it. Like it's pretty cool that I can now just come in here and I can navigate all of these, use the Power App or, navigate back to home. And so I'm able to do all the different things with the device through this interface. So this has sped up my building and iterating because I didn't have to keep putting the headset back on, which when it's back and forth all the time and you don't use it for a living, it takes a hot minute to learn. Questions, comments, leave them below. Do you like these type of videos? Are there other cool devices like this that you think I should try to get my grubby little paws on and build videos around? Like one of them I'd love to do is like the zebra scanner, right? Zebra people, if you're out there, send me a zebra scanner. We'll build a cool little app to do things for you. And of course, remember, go check out my training, right? We've got upcoming live classes. We got on-demand classes. We got university, which is always a rolling enrollment, so you can join at any point. Lots of cool ways to learn with me and, have fun like the university students helped us build this. All right, with that, I'm going to say thanks and have a great day.